What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what really influenced it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go down 8.25%, 13.75 the low, 15.11 the high. So crazy volatility. No actual news associated to SoFi itself. No SEC filing. So it was kind of just piggybacking off of the broader market of sorts. But one of the biggest influential factors for today was this, a sell $8 rating by KBW, Tim, who has a 82% success rating, which all in all isn't all that bad, but still that prompted a very aggressive pullback. A lot of people are saying that obviously SoFi pulling back as much as it did was unjust, and I completely do agree. But there was one thing that I've been stating, that SoFi's technicals were kind of on the edge of consolidating a lot more. And this rating was that kind of push that SoFi's technicals needed to consolidate. So for face value, yes, I think this going down as much as it did was excessive, but it was this rating alongside the current technicals. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but this was kind of the biggest for the moving factors for SoFi today. Shorts, though, they didn't do all that much. So they did increase roughly around 41,000 shares. 13.06% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 139.23 million shares overall are being shorted. I do find it kind of comical, though, how the cost to borrow minimum is at 0.51. So that's kind of the highest it's been in the last roughly 6 months. And so whatever broker out there that's been trying to drum up business by paying people to short SoFi, they clearly see, hey, SoFi is going through enough damage. We don't need to pay people. We're going to kind of pull that away. So I do find that kind of comical behind the scenes. But beside the point, right here, there's in excess of 10 million shares available. And even throughout the day, you can kind of see this teal line. Shorts didn't really do all that much whatsoever. So it was more of a stagnant day for them. Looking at the options, though, 42 million in calls, 19 million in puts. 44% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature, but it is a nice change of events based on the actual dollar value getting in today. So 60.9 million in total premiums. And last time it was there was on December the 18th, which conveniently, also during that day, it did go down 8.52%. So market seems to really load up on calls essentially. And you can tell that based on the put/call ratio right here. So that column. So this is why I like to analyze a lot of the information behind the scenes. Even myself, when it was pulling back conveniently near the low, I did sell some 14 and also 13.50 puts because I felt that it was just too much in a short time span. So I have it expiring tomorrow, short term kind of stuff, but usually that's how you can kind of make the most money. But no matter what, you guys do whatever floats your boat. This is some of the call options that was purchased today. So consensus is still for it to be around that $17. So fairly good recovery is anticipated. And then you have a lot of good consensus for it to be above 18 by January 17th, and even more so above 15 by that same expiry date. So still a lot of good optimism on the table despite the negative rating and kind of pullback. On the bears, though, they are anticipating for it to be sub $14. So in my opinion, still a lot more upside is anticipated versus down. And even looking a little bit lower, you don't see that much negative kind of estimates in the foreseeable future, which I think largely stems from the good data that's been coming out on a macro standpoint. So yeah, I think in general, today's pullback was somewhat unjust and that there is more upside to come. Plus, as well, today you did see a lot more transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money definitely was interested in SoFi, somewhat mixed, some buying, some selling. So this is kind of what caused it to go down as much as it did. So a string of selling straight away. But as you can kind of see, some big money did buy the dip. So give yourself a shout out if you did buy the dip today, or did you do options like myself? Bearish options, bullish options. Let me know your viewpoint on that. With it closing at $14.13, right above this S2. So 14.11 is going to be a key support that you really want to watch for it to hold tomorrow. So tomorrow we have manufacturing data on a side note, but flip side, 14.73 and then 15.72 is going to be the next strong resistance / target points. And then the following one is $13.11. So obviously, like I said, this rating right here, kind of crazy. Most likely this is just a weird prediction, but Wedbush or Compass Point, the two other bears out there, it'd be kind of very strategic if they do give a rating tomorrow just to kill SoFi's just anything to do with SoFi. So that's one weird thing with SoFi though, is just the fact that somehow one bearish rating comes out and it just tanks like a crazy stock, but you get like a $19 or $16 rating. Doesn't really seem to phase it all that much. So I don't know why, but just the negative ratings take priority for some reason. But aside from that, on the actual chart itself, so today it did actually break below that super trend. So super trend is showing as bearish right now. So going forward, that does mean that you're going to have kind of the algorithms really working against SoFi. So definitely need to watch for that to kind of be that it's going to cause a lot of volatility regardless. But it did bounce off of that general 50-day moving average as well. So historically, whenever it does break below that for 2 consecutive trading days, anticipate a 20% pullback, 15 to 20% in that regard. So that is sitting at $14.20. So it did close slightly below that. But aside from that, you have that 100 and 200-day moving average still fairly low below that. At the same time, stochastic RSI, you see it very oversold. So because of the recent consolidation, that has kind of reset the technicals in some fashion. But if manufacturing data comes out better than anticipated, then you could see maybe some value investors really rushing to SoFi, or if SoFi comes out with some positive news in among itself. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, how the technicals even leading into today were somewhat choppy. And so all that rating did was magnify the technicals. So I do agree with a lot of the individuals out there saying that the rating and what has happened today isn't just. So again, you kind of have to factor in the technicals. So definitely watch for that 50-day moving average to be that holding point. So that's at $14.20. And then that's over and above kind of these points right here. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Do you feel that today's sell-off was justified? Did you buy the dip? What's your overall thoughts on SoFi? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.